Good evening, traders. Welcome to the new summary of the day video after a little break. I just want to say that at the beginning that it is a little bit demotivating me when I see that in our group is over 200 members and just 3 are telling me that my charts are useful for them and maybe they will also use my markups. But for sure I will not stop doing this. I will still share this, maybe often than usually. Just a little demotivating, you know. But let me explain my markups. Here drew the main supply where the biggest move appeared. There were no reaction with the zone. Also here on Wednesday the price made, it's clear on lower time frame, the equal highs. So still I believe that this zone is full of sell limit orders. And then I marked another supply on 1 hour time frame, this big zone, because it caused the break of this low. And also it was, take a look here, it was the support, equal lows above bigger daily demand. So for me this zone was really important. Some of you also marked this supply, but for me it is just reaction with the main one which caused the break of structure, as here, yes, this low. It was, I read this as filling the orders and the price delivery to the demand in here. Yeah, we can see indecision candle, and in 2 hours, oh, this is M30, so in 1 hour price delivery to the supply. So for me this move was just a reaction. And then I want to explain why I was looking today mostly for buys than the sells. I'm really happy and glad to read that some of you took the sell, as Ed, Ernest, Pavel. Very nice. It was with your plan, with your visualization, everything clicked. The criteria was met. Very good. I just want to explain why I wasn't looking for a sell. Here we can see that the baseline from this demand here, the baseline was like also a support. Yes, we have here multiple touches as a invitation for more buyers that this support is strong enough. But here appeared the break of structure and fresh demand was made. And this demand, the leg out, truly broke here the baseline, and with high volume it was break of the structure. So this demand was for me finally the first very clean demand since last few days. And I didn't mark this demand here because it was reaction from the main one. So it was same why I didn't draw here the supply, because it was reaction from the main here. I always love to see the price in the main zone, not as a reaction. Maybe sometimes I'm really taking trades from the smaller, not so important zones, but it is always the safest way to look for a main zone. So for me this supply and this demand here, the both zones weren't so valid as the main. I also draw here the big imbalance. I noticed that on the higher time frames, the really important are also not with the zeros, but just the imbalances. Here is the truly imbalance. Take a look on how many contracts we had on the bid side and how many on the ask. Big difference, over 10 times. So here was the truly imbalance. So the idea was to take a look for a setup on this imbalance It was also the 50% of this leg out, very nice, but it was just 7 pips from the higher edge of the demand. So could be risky, but I was also honestly looking for this price level. If the volume could be really lowered, to take a buy, maybe for aiming for lower TP than I wanted. And the reason why I wasn't looking for a sell, because this move here, this here is a compression. For me, if the price is not doing the last push to the upside in this case, so it was missing candle for me, missing push, it means that the sellers wasn't truly ready for a sell, because they didn't even try to get a better price. By zooming this in, you can also see that price missed the huge imbalance. It was buyer's imbalance. It means how strongly buyers here tried to push the price up. So with reading this as an unfinished, incomplete compression, I wasn't looking for any sell, because I always like to see that the opposite side is trying to get a better price. So it would be like taking a sell from equal highs or taking a buy from equal lows without the liquidity grab, which is just trying to take a better price. So here it didn't happen. I'm really happy. I just don't mean that your sells were wrong. It is with your plan perfect. The plan is important, and in my case, just it was some missing piece, maybe missing 1 or 2 candles, even by missing the supply zone. So I was still focused only on taking a buy. So let's go to the correct time frame, the M1. Whoa, not so big. And even here we can see that price missed the big imbalance, missed the main supply just by how much? Less than half pip. These 5 candles here are equal highs, very shiny, very small. This move here, when some of you was aiming, or not aiming, were trying to look for a sell setup, and some of you executed this. For me, this compression with this push to the up wasn't to the zone. Maybe just by markups, maybe just because in your charts it was on the M30 supply or M15, but in my it was just not touching the zone. So I was always all the time waiting for a buy setup, and it didn't happen. Price started to do some support, equal lows, but it was very far away from the zone, like almost 20 pips. And the move here was very interesting, the whole sell, the big drop, and I was almost ready to take a buy position, almost ready. I'm not trading this month. I would maybe share the idea that I'm looking for a buy, but take a look here. We had big imbalance on the ask side as 21, but it was broken by this bearish candle. This bearish candle is a hungry candle. It has the opening and closure with different price levels than the candle before. So this bearish ate the candle, the previous one, and closed below the imbalance. So this move here, this just the 3 candles, made my potential setup invalid. Also we can see that the volume here increased, but my main reason would be the sorry, the hungry candle. Then after a while I just realized that price is treating this huge imbalance level from the ask side as a support. And take a look, it was just 7 pips above the main demand. So it was inviting as many early buyers as possible. So it would be really good to wait for some reaction on the demand, especially that we were so close and the bullish imbalance was broken. And yeah, I wasn't so patient today. I closed my charts, my platform, because price was very slowly moving. I had also in mind that this is Friday, that usually I'm not trading this day, and the incoming red folder news about CPI but for the US dollar, so I just left the platform. But then you can see the perfect move to the upside, mostly by bearish candles. And if you don't see anything by zero side, it's also good to check the ask bid ratio. Usually I love to take a trades with the zero imbalances, but if something is not clean but you expect some move, it is good to compare those two imbalances. Because for example this level here, it wasn't with a zero but so strong, price really treated this as a support just above the demand. Perfect. By switching to the footprint, it was this price action. This is also the thing with the ad is very fascinated on. Also Scott, I'm talking with some of you about this absorption thing on the private messages. Really interesting price action. Just take a look, guys, for example, on this bearish candle, which was this one here, just price delivery to the demand. Personally, I didn't like that. This is just almost a higher edge, not any deeper invader. But bearish candle has a lot of buy contracts. We can see this by positive delta. Also by naked eye comparing the clusters. Way more buyers than sellers, but we have bearish candle. Without the footprint and without the real volume, it was like trading blind. We couldn't see what is inside the candle. But this is, for me, this is something brilliant, something really important. That in bearish candle we can see more buyers. Sounds irrational, but the footprint can give us the information what is going on. Even if you don't like the footprint, by adding the delta to the charts, you could see that the bearish candle has way more buy contracts. There's also the switch in the volume. Also Pavel used this technique, very nice, very clean. I just stopped using delta because of analyzing too many datas. I prefer just the volume bars and the footprint, because on footprint I can read everything also on top of this table. Even on M5 it looked perfect. Just take a look on this imbalance and move. So big volume and so big difference on how many buyers appear on the market on bearish candle. This is crazy. Sounds really unbelievable. But just let's delete this delta. So in this case, if the imbalance from the where we could see, he wasn't nothing clean, yes, any zero imbalance, just we can see the absorption, that buyers absorb the whole bearish power. But we know that this is the demand zone. If drawn correctly, can give really big confidence to take your decision. So without breaking anything clean, I would try to see if this bullish reaction with extreme high volume as 700 on M1, this is something very big. Where is the imbalance? I would say that the 46 to the 3. Yeah, so the buyers absorbed the sell power. Take a look how many sell contracts, how much they wanted to push the price down, but we were on demand. And here, just after the cluster with the big buyers contracts, we have the imbalance. The sellers just gave up. So we had 700 volume imbalance on the buyer's side, and take a look, it was over 2 times lower volume. Yes, on 2 minutes later, 1302, and it would be which candle? This is the M5 chart, sorry. And it would be this bullish one, small candle. Volume decreased over 2 times. So for me, the aggressive entry could be from here. And what to aim for? Where is something huge, like a zero side, which I prefer? Look at this here, 121 on the bid side, 0 buyers. Let's mark this. The potential TP, the distance, let's say 19 pips. So 1 to the 6. Worth the game? Yes, for sure. Just could be very hard to manage. Honestly, I believe that a lot of you could be very confused how to be still on this trade. My rule is to move my stop loss while buying below every demand. So the question is, after all these pullbacks, was here any safe demand to set my stop loss below? Let's check this move here. Yes, this looks like a demand, indecision candle and leg out, but the leg out here, this bullish candle, first of all closed just a little bit above the wick, but secondly the base has bigger volume than the leg out. So for me this is no demand. Sometimes I'm mentioning that for me the true demand is when the base or the indecision candle, the candle when we are drawing the base, has lower volume than the leg out. The leg out needs to be with increasing volume. So for me it wouldn't be any kind of demand, so I still wouldn't know where to set my stop loss, so probably it would be on my entry level as I just jumped the trade. Could be very dangerous, maybe unclean, but worth definitely the game. The safer entry could be in here, because take a look on this buyer power. A lot of big imbalances, like 251 on the ask side, 5 times more buyers than sellers, and they really push the price up to make a new high. Then price rejected. Let's, for example, drew some kind of zone here due to the imbalances. We have push to the down and then to the up. 2 candles together are like rejection candle. Yes, we have small body, and those 2 candles are a weak because there was no change of the price in the time of 2 minutes. So by joining the market here after rejection of this bullish imbalance, the TP, the stop loss, will be still safe, right? First of all, below imbalances, and by fix it as I am doing, 3 pips is still below the candle, below the zone. So he would be a safer entry, but I would join the market similar to Jeffrey, just after breaking the imbalances, after this huge buyer power, after the whole absorption thing. Perfect, good scenario, and boom, yeah, perfect price delivery. Maybe I would be a bit scared just before the news, because this first engulfing candle is the CPI news for US dollar, but aiming for the biggest bearish imbalances here as this price level was very correct. Maybe I would just close somewhere here. I'm not sure, I cannot say this so easy after time, of course, but we can just see that it was very good trade. And also by what I want to say, by managing, here was some dangerous move, as we had here 42 on the ask side, and it was broken. So maybe you can say that this price levels should be a closure of the trade. So it could be like 8 pips with aggressive entry and just 6 pips from the safe entry. But we also need to read the candles, right? Here was the equal highs below this big imbalance. So with still big belief that the price can be delivered here, and price just created the equal highs, it could be, it should be for me read as a liquidities here. It was just few pips, like 6.5 pips from the main big imbalance, which caused the break of structure and the price delivery to this huge imbalance. So I would believe that this break of the imbalance means nothing, and it could be still good and safe trade. Just over here, as a few minutes before news, I am not sure how I could react. Also here was the after break of structure, price made a support. I'm not sure if I would not close the trade here after some rejections. Really cannot say this for sure, but the 19 pips wave was very possible to catch. I'm really impressed that Jeffrey holded this as a so huge trade to the price level as an Asian high, or just to the supply. It's really amazing. Just want to check this. Sorry guys, but I'm very curious. Not here. It was 31 pips extreme trade, 1 to the 10. Wow, very good job, Jeffrey. I would aim just for this level, but of course my view was way higher. I'm a scalper, I wouldn't hold the trade for 70 pips as 1 to the 35. I like the catching the momentum. So what happened next? When price is delivered to the supply, it is safer to look for sell positions, of course. Not trying to predict the break of big zone, because we can only expect something. But while we are on the trade, and our setup was based on M1 time frame, it is really very risky to predict and to manage the break of some bigger zone like 1 hour time frame. So I would aim maximum to the higher edge. Of course, not because of the news. This is always dangerous. I'm not trading news anytime. And the beautiful thing is that I was buying signals almost 4 years ago from many providers, a lot of providers. I was in so few retail traders groups, and I realized or noticed that if they see the big bullish move after news, they are so sure that this is the change of structure, or really this move will be continued because of positive fundamentals or something like this, and nothing more wrong. Usually the big move is just to the zone to fill some orders, because the banks wanted this so much. And by doing this, you can see that the huge imbalance was taken, and then price started to move down, break the imbalance from the delivery candle. Not so big imbalance, just 11 on the buyer's side. The first candle just closed on this, so still not any sell setup, yes, because it was not any kind of break of this. The second candle perfectly closed below this one and this one, but take a look how big stop loss it should be. Yes, big. The candle were long enough to avoid resetting so big stop loss. Take a look, for example, for what we could aim. Yes, this is the demand zone. Price was ranging and then shot to the up due to the news. So my TP, the safe TP, would be the higher edge of the zone, like this. These here, the equal highs. So let's say this price level. So if I would enter here with stop loss above this, let's say almost 8 pips, I would be aiming just for a less than 1 to the 2. For me, as a scalper, it is not worth the game, especially just few minutes after the news. Because let's say this one candle, it was just 9 minutes after news. So price was still hot, very high volume. And then when price calmed down, we can see another delivery to the supply. Volume lowered over 2 times, and I would just jump on this rejection candle. By closure to the higher edge of the demand, it was safe 1 to the 7. 1 to the 7 trade. Nothing dangerous as a pullbacks, because we can also see here the gap, bullish imbalance, which were broken. So sellers are controlling the market. It was really feeling some orders, and then just reaction, rejection wicks. Volume was too high, so I wouldn't join here, but I would still hold the trade with set my stop loss above this gap. Yes, because gaps are like imbalances. So it would be the maximum price level where I could accept the pullback. If broken, I would close. Maybe if my acceptance would be bigger, I would just set my stop loss at break even, because here we have supply. There's double shield, main supply, smaller supply, indecision candle with big leg out. The volume is lower than the than the base, but I would set just after entering my stop loss. But the safest way just to protect your profits would be up above this gap as some critical point that I would accept the pullback. So 1 to the 7 was possible here. Let's say maybe even lower if someone is using the 4 pips or 3.5 pips, or just above this week it could be 3.5, right? Yeah, let's say 3.5. So 1 to the 6, just to the higher edge of this demand, it was really safe. So how many setups we already had? The first one aggressive, needed balls and understanding the market to hold the trade, to not close this too early. Then the second here on the close of this bullish candle, so it could be second good trade, even safer than the first one. And I would join the market here after rejection. It was also, we could say, the 50% of this bearish candle. So 3 setups, and let's see if something else was possible. If we have here range imbalances, let's check if price reacted here. Safe, break, new high, break of the supply here. Yes, we have price sitting on the broken imbalance, supply, and first high as a reaction from this demand. Price came here back and lost volume. You can see the decreasing volume. If I would join here with my fixed stop loss as a 3 pips, I would be kicked out just by a week. Even if my view was correct, no revenge trading, no bad emotions. I would rejoin here because it would be worth the game. For example, to these here equal highs for 1 to the 5, or even to the lower edge of supply as 25 pips. Amazing wave, but I would be kicked just by a less than 0.1 pip. Bad luck happens. So for me, once again, it will be 3 good setups during this day. But as I said, I am very picky. I love to see if prices really reacted with my zones. I love to see the complete setups. So for me, this compression made all sells invalid. I would be just looking for a buys, and here we had perfect support as equal lows above the zone with liquidity grab, and looking for 2 kinds of entries, as a aggressive one or later as a safe one. But really the wave was, the possibility was amazing. There like over 30 pips to get over 1 to the 10. Just needed the understanding, big belief, and your level of greediness. I love to aim just for a 15, 17, 20 pips max, and usually I can find the safe TP exactly on these levels as previous imbalances. I just don't like to try to predict if my imbalance will be broken just to aim for even more. I'm a safe guy. I like to very fast trades to catch what is mine and what is possible, what is easier to catch. And of course I'm not aiming for 1 to the 2 or 1 to the 3, at least let's say the 1 to the 4. Hopefully this is some good lesson for you, this video. I'm just happy really that the price did exactly what I wanted. Of course I would never aim for so big wave as, wow, let's say the over 70 pips. It's not me. I love the 1 to the 5. Small steps to grow your account, to make some withdrawals even once a month, to feel your wins, not only to think about growing the account forever, endless process. It is good for me, in my opinion, to feel some wins. So maybe not even one times a week the withdrawal, but after some important win, or once a month, really just to feel this, that you deserve after hard work, that you see that your account is still growing. But I prefer really fast wave. From a few minutes in a trade to half hour, I am really tired about managing my trade for 1 hour or longer. This is hard. Today this move for my perfect TP, I'm not sure how it could take from the 13 to the, oh damn, it was like over 5 hours of managing. Just try to imagine if this is worth, yes, your time. Okay, 1 to the 35 is amazing reward, but sitting and thinking for over 5 hours what the price is doing, the all pullbacks, the breaking of the smaller demands while buying, it is the stress factor. I don't like any stress emotions while I'm trading. I love to be very confident. I see my TP, I set this, and boom, I want to see the price is delivered there without any pullbacks as a best of course setup. Okay guys, sorry for longer video. I wasn't doing this for a while. I hope that you can take some notes from this one, and if any questions or doubts, please let me know or ask on the main chat. There are really a lot of experienced traders who can also help. Thank you Ed, thank you Jeffrey, thank you Ernest for being now active. Thank you, Pavel. Really, Johan. Wow, there are even more and more and more active members which are sharing their trades with explanations. This is what I wanted to see all the time, and it was kind of my dream. And it's happening right now. Thank you guys for all your hard work and for perfect trades. Do not forget to share your losses, yes, because losses are the lessons and the others can also learn from your losses. I'm always sharing my loss. It's not any shame. This is positive thing to remember. Damn, I knew that I am joining the market too early and it happened. My stop loss was hit. This is very good, yes, to read also. We are not only winners. Have a nice weekend, guys, and see you Monday. I will try to be even more active. I just had a sick kid at home. This is just a bad time for kindergarten. Every kids are ill. Bad viruses are everywhere, and I'm not able to be all the time on charts, but will do my best. Thank you guys for watching, and have a nice weekend once again. See you.